Another toilet down, and probably not that many areas for us to go through left, actually. Though again, the sheer amount of raw footage I see that we need to get through at this point is a little intimidating, considering just how few Metroids are left on the counter down there. Still, the end of the original and AM2R's version has to be close, even if the actual end for this particular remake is a while away. Another level of acid dealt with, and probably very few more to go after this. Wait, what? That wasn't a flush, that was just rearranging the acid to go to the other side instead of draining altogether. A bit odd, but then I'm probably not supposed to think that's all that strange when we've got monsters that are explicitly suicidal, still alive and wandering in areas that were underneath acid just seconds ago. I can't even find it in myself to feel annoyed at that kind of maze within a maze that makes things overly complicated just to go through a hallway anymore. Or the fact that we've got no choice but to take damage from the bat here. Wait, again there's only one Metroid for us to find here? They're certainly doing a good job of slowing us down to a frickin' crawl around here. Huh. Didn't think that the screw attack would let us get away with ramming those enemies without taking any damage. At the very least, I was expecting that gas cloud they leave behind to do something to us. I don't think the energy we spend when countering with the lightning armor on is all that worth it. But then sometimes I can be a little too ammo cautious. I either have more than I'm ever gonna spend against the enemy and gain more than we lose in various fights, or I feel like we're starved for it. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground there. An entire energy tank from a single small explosion? Again, are we sure that the gravity suit actually improves our defense like the text claims? Because considering the amount of damage we generally take per hit, I can't help thinking they changed plans for that particular thing and didn't bother telling the people who wrote the text in this game. Right, another chance in hell for us to get that upgrade until we get the baby Metroid. Just like a lot of other upgrades in this game. Well, that's just gonna make things a little more annoying. At least we're past that particular block. Okay, so we've blocked ourselves from that path. Guess that means we've got another means out of this corner. Okay, seems we found our way through the maze. Unfortunately, we've gone through so many mazes at this point that it's hard to really give a damn. Part of me thinks we're done here. The other can't help feeling there must be something more considering the complexity of the maze we just went through. Okay, we've got a beepin' and no clue where the thing peepin' is from here. And apparently I should have left this corner several hundred health points ago. Well, that was a waste of time and health. Sure, it's easy enough to regain health, but still, we don't know how far off the next Metroid is, or what form it'll be. All we know is there's one of them somewhere around here. I'm sorry, is there even a path that goes somewhere new in this direction? Because the minimap certainly doesn't show anything fresh. Bloody hell, they're certainly doing a good job of keeping me injured at this stage of the game. Again, jumping up there to break the missile block didn't actually open anything that wasn't already open for us. Okay, bit of a random place to introduce us to the T-Rex. And apparently he has the extra gimmick of having something covering up the weak point on his chest. So we have to go through the effort of breaking that barrier before we can actually start hurting the bastard. Add in the fact that we started this fight against a brand new enemy type while having less than half of our health. And I don't like our chances here in the first try. Well, at least the barriers on his chest flash when hit by a regular beam. That's a small mercy. Unfortunately, we need a lot more than a small mercy to get through this one. At the very least, I'm going to need a lot more to drink right now. Now, part of me wants to feel guilty for fast-forwarding through our first fight with a T-Rex. In all honesty, it was pretty damn fun for me to fight against this thing at the time. But again, in terms of how I am now that we're on commentary, I'm pretty damn tired of hunting down Metroids on this planet. Sure, it's a brand new, dangerous monster. One that we're not going to have all that many encounters against, considering how few Metroids are left on the planet between us and the Queen. But the fact is that it isn't going to be a one-off boss. We're going to face off against a few more of these things, which means we're going to have to deal with a few more fights against a damage sponge that occasionally sends an attack that we can potentially gain health from. Again, while it's all rather thrilling to deal with when I have the controller in my hands, it's a bit more awkward to be excited after the fact when I know there's more of this exact same monster in probably the exact same type of large hallway. This isn't a fault of the game by any shot. It's just a fault of my manner of going through footage to comment on these things after the fact. The game does an absolutely amazing job of making the player feel like every fight against absolutely every Metroid is an event. Definitely not an easy task, considering just how many Metroids we have to kill over the course of the game. And you can't really blame the game designers for not doing all that much to make it equally as interesting to the people who might be watching the player go through the entire game each step of the way. This is an interactive medium, not a movie or TV show, even if I am using the footage of this to keep posting things online. was certainly a brutal new attack. You're not safe in the air or on the ground. As if we needed more evidence that the Queen Metroid is going to be several steps up from what we dealt with in AM2R. Okay, progress! We made it to a point when it changed its attack pattern. Of course, it seems to be the only Metroid type that will change its attack pattern the more damaged it is. Probably part of the reason why I see so much raw footage here. This is a stage of the game where I die a hell of a lot more often than any other stage. I'll do what I can to trim the proverbial fat, cutting some of the less dignified or repetitive deaths. But again, I'm rather nervous what we're gonna run into when we finally reach the Queen, if this is what we have to deal with just before the Queen. The T-Rexes in AM2R were partially so deadly because the environments worked with them. You couldn't really jump over them that easily, and, well, the ground was typically very damn dangerous. This guy doesn't really need that. He's dangerous enough without various environmental hazards to make things a little more awkward for us. Yeah, this is definitely a fight that uses the entire room for all it's worth and makes even a simplistic hallway like this feel like a death zone. Probably should have put down some bombs as we rolled between its legs. Good God. Most creatures this tough and complicated in games tend to be one-offs to make them feel special. But no, there's gonna be just a few more Metroids just like this one. Seriously, if the T-Rex can deny us the air and the ground at the same time, what is the Queen gonna do when we reach her? Because I severely doubt we're just gonna simply shoot her a bunch of times, run away, shoot her some more, then drop a super bomb in her throat like last time we fought her. I just hope she doesn't prove to be just as frustrating to deal with as Mother Brain back in Zero Mission. At some point, I'd like to see what happens when I finally muster the courage to counter one of those fights. Holy shit, how did I survive that one? Well, that was certainly a close fight. Considering we started it off missing a good deal of health, it's amazing we did as well as we did. This is back to the acid toilet to see if we're actually going to open up a new area this time. Or is this just gonna clear up the acid we've already explored the other side of? I swear, the way things are laid out here, I keep thinking that there's something important above us. But no, it's just an alternate path out of this room that isn't even needed. Will it be needed later on in the game, or is it something they threw in at some point in the design process and didn't remove when plans changed? Am I ever not going to fall for that? That drop is certainly pretty damn memorable after all. At least we didn't take any damage on our way out. Oh god, am I seriously going to die to recurring enemies before we even get to the acid toilet? We've been low on health for far too long in my opinion, but then considering how much damage all these things can do, and how infrequently I bother with the lightning armor, that I really should be using more extensively, any amount of health missing is kinda concerning. And of course, even this late in the game, I can't tell the difference between one of those things getting ready to tackle us or spitting acid. Well, at least we're up 2 tanks. That has to be worth something. And there we are, the acid toilet. Unfortunately, this is the first one where I have no idea where we're supposed to go once we drain it. Right, areas we've already explored are now free of acid again. Now to see if there's any paths in that section we just drained that could lead somewhere new. And hopefully, we'll be able to get to a save point before we have to deal with any more Metroids. Part of me wishes we had more fights against the Xenomorph form before we got to the T-Rex. The other just wishes we were taking on the Queen now, if not sooner, so we can get on with whatever's going to happen after the main events of this game. Well, at least we managed to avoid that suicidal little bastard. It's getting to the point that I'll take any minor victory I find. Sure, we're still making progress, but I'd say the progress is coming after a good deal more effort than it used to. This game is certainly doing a better job of giving us a difficulty curve than Zero Mission, which just had moments where it spiked up. Okay, this area looks new, and thankfully it has a save point. Was a little worried I'd be wandering around for quite a while, just to find what general direction we need to wander to make progress, though it's also possible I'm just being paranoid here. Well, it certainly didn't take long for those bats to come back. Am I misremembering? Is this just about the point when AM2R gave us few if any recurring enemies to deal with as we kept getting closer to the end? Because I'm not even getting the sense that the population down here is declining. This place is just crawling with enemies. Granted, AM2R took longer to give us that long period of nothing coming than I initially remembered, but still, aside from how much damage we take, I'm not seeing much of anything that makes this area feel more ominous than the others we've run through. But then, with the odd lack of atmosphere in this game, nothing feels ominous. At best, you just have instant moments of, oh shit, then you move on. Right, so we can only go into that room from a specific angle. Annoying. Well, that didn't go according to plan. Wonder why I didn't try essentially flying first. Hell, that spends less of a resource than screwing around with the time stream itself, really. Oh, god damn it. This is definitely making things take longer than they strictly needed to. This is a punishment for me fast-forwarding through the T-Rex fight, if anything. I should have fast-forwarded through this. Right, of course there's little to no stable ground in here. Apparently stable ground would have made this too easy or something. Probably not worth it, but I'll save anyway.